All right, おはようございます、皆さん。Today we are in presence of the beautiful and wonderful Ali.
こんにちは。ありがとうございます。
We are so glad to have you here with us again.
Thank you.
So today we are going to learn a bit more about British culture because we have this wonderful British woman here with us. So why not, right? Okay, so let's start with the first question. What are the things that symbolize or represent British culture the most? So like the top traditions, in Britain.
Traditions in Britain. Well, we don't get so much sunshine. So when we do, we are so over the moon about it. And it's like 25 degrees and everyone goes rushing down to the beach. We just embrace sunshine so much. There's that typical idea that we eat fish and chips. So perhaps like on the beach after running around and swimming and having a great time in the summertime, we may eat fish and chips or just enjoy the sun, enjoy being with friends and family. Yeah, and I think, the British countryside as well, it's such a beautiful place, which I actually never visited and never really thought about so much until I lived in Japan. And then I just, really wanted to go and revisit the place that was just on my doorstep,
Oh yeah, actually I realized that as well, where you live usually you don't visit and so then you miss a lot of things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you leave you're like, oh my god, there were so many things I could have seen and visited.
Sometimes the distance makes you appreciate what was always there.
Yeah, actually it's always when we lose something that we realize the value of it, right? Yeah, definitely. Actually that makes me think, when I was in the UK for 2 months, it was actually the best summer ever they had, and so I felt so lucky. But we went to do a barbecue and everyone was so happy, but So I was speaking with everyone and they told me that they were actually doing barbecue under the rain sometimes because it was so desperate, right?
Yes, it's like come rain or shine, we are going to enjoy summer. And, I think another thing as well is beer gardens and like garden parties, just any outside exposure. Even if it's like a little bit cold, we just want to have the feeling of having a summer.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Right. Do you know, I'm curious, but do you know where the fish and chips come from?
I don't actually, and especially here in Japan, so many people ask me, do you eat fish and chips? And I'm more of a sort of like sashimi and like potato like crisps kind of girl. I'm not really down with like the fried fish and the like chips so much. So I would say actually, to break this stereotype, I probably eat fish and chips once every 5 years.
Oh,
right. It's just like not really on the agenda. I'd say like what people ask me, what do British people eat then? I'd say like the typical thing is a roast dinner. So that would be like with Yorkshire puddings, roast potatoes, roast parsnips, lots of vegetables, gravy, and a huge piece of meat.
Oh, right. Actually, can you just tell us a little bit more about British cuisine and especially what do you eat for breakfast, for example? For breakfast and lunch and dinner, do you have like something a bit special? Or?
Well, I think everyone's different, but a typical answer would probably be, people have this idea that we have this full English breakfast, and I'd say that's only on occasions, maybe on a weekend every now and then. But when it comes to a very standard or typical breakfast, it would probably be like cereal or porridge or toast usually.
What do you put on your toast? Nutella?
Nutella. I do love Nutella, but usually I just have like butter.
Oh, right. Butter and maybe some jam.
Maybe jam, yeah. And a cup of tea or coffee.
Right. All right. And what about lunch and dinner?
It really does depend. I mean, traditionally we would have afternoon tea at around 3 or 3:30.
Right.
But nowadays...
British tea is so famous.
British tea is famous and we love a cup of tea. Like, all problems are solved by putting the kettle on. Like, that's kind of really how we feel, So... And it's just a nice way just to like touch base with friends or family or have a little time out, just have a cup of tea. But obviously with more people working now, we're losing that tradition because it's more just sort of like grab a coffee or, it's not so much about like having this afternoon tea with scones and, sandwiches and things like that. So it's changed. But going back to your question, what do we have for lunch? It really does depend. I guess, yeah, like sandwiches or salads. Recently, it's becoming a lot more international, so there is even options like bento boxes and sushi and, you know, all sorts of things, really. Yeah.
For Ali.
For me, well, if you've lived in Japan, you probably don't really want to eat sushi, in Britain, unless you go to a very fancy restaurant, and you will have excellent food, but you will have to pay a hefty sum for it.
Yeah, actually, the first time I tried sushi as well was in France, and I really realized the difference when I came to Japan. There is no comparison, right?
No, I know. And I used to love going to this place called the Japan Center, just because it had nice Japanesey things that really, I don't know, made me feel for a moment that I was in Japan. But now, I don't think I could go there. Like, I don't think I could eat that sushi.
Right. Yeah. Now you know the real thing, right?
Yeah. Even like cheap supermarket sushi here in Japan is fantastic. So
yeah, it's actually much better. The first one I ate was, this small, like, how to say, it's circulating, how to say? Kaiten kana?
Ah, yes. I forget to say that.
And it was really amazing, but so cheap.
Right, yeah.
Would you have like a top 3 of expressions that you use a lot in Britain?
I think we do tend to express ourselves using things like absolutely or brilliant or fantastic. Yeah. We don't tend to say things like awesome. I think awesome is a very American term.
Right.
Like if a British person said awesome, I'd be like, are you okay? What's happened?
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, you use a lot of very typical expressions all the time, and every time I'm like, for example, just earlier you said
over the moon.
Over the moon, right?
Yes, yeah.
I thought this is so amazing. I love it, actually.
I see, but I think that's the thing. When people ask you what are typical things that British people say, you don't really know because you are British, you know.
Oh.
And I think like the only reason that I've come to think about, what's a typical British thing to say is because like of my YouTube channel, and also having lived here for such a long time, I'm understanding, differences. But I think there's also something like that you probably know from Harry Potter, and
I love
if
Harry Potter.
If we want to like express ourselves, it's not like particularly polite. I wouldn't say this in front of like my grandmother or something, but you can say like bloody. It's like
bloody,
like, bloody, like
bloody hell.
Yeah, or like just to say, you can say like, oh, it's bloody freezing, or like that's bloody brilliant. I think actually like Ron in Harry Potter uses that, like bloody brilliant kind of thing. I think it's just like a word to emphasize. So like if it's terrible, if it's great, it's just we say bloody, and it's not particularly polite. But
if you were Queen Elizabeth or the Prime Minister, what would you change about Britain? You are powerful now.
Right. I mean, I would probably steal a couple of ideas from Japan and just encourage this more sort of like harmonious existence. I would probably just kind of encourage people to, keep things clean and think about other people. And I think one thing that I really did not like about Britain was kind of not feeling so safe. And I love how in Japan I can leave my bag and, go outside, take a phone call or go to the loo or something like that, and it's still there when I come back. I just love that element of living in safety. And it's strange that it doesn't happen in other countries because everybody likes it. Everyone likes to feel safe. I don't know. So I guess I would try and encourage a more safe, harmonious environment.
Why do you think it's so safe in Japan?
I think it doesn't really cross people's mind to take what's not theirs.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of in their culture or in their mindset, or it's just in their genes, kind of?
Perhaps all three, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, I guess you don't think about stealing someone's bag unless you've been brought up in a culture where people steal each other's bags, and in Japan it just, of course it's happening more and more nowadays, but it's just not the way that people think generally.
Yeah, I do agree. And it's true, it feels so good actually. Even, I don't know, at night or whatever, you can just go out and enjoy.
Yeah, you don't have to hide your phone or your wallet or anything, it's just everyone can relax and be themselves.
Yeah, actually, you know what? In my previous share house, we used to never close the door.
Right, yeah.
Oh, is it the same experience for you?
I did the same when I was living in a different part of town.
Yeah, I think that's just so incredible, right? Like for me, I would in France I would never do this, especially in the capital like Paris. I would be like, never.
No way. Yeah, that's true.
Incredible. All right, so the safety would be the main issue for you.
I think so. Yeah, I just feel this is such a life changer to live in a safe environment where you don't have to watch your back and fear other people. It has really changed my life and quality of life. You know, this quality of life here is amazing, and if I could encourage people in Britain to live in this dynamic, then I want to share it, you know, with my motherland.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds very right. Well, that was very interesting. Thank you so much. We know a bit more about Britain now. So thank you so much for answering all the questions. And
my pleasure.
We are going to see you in the next video. But before that, please don't forget to check Miss Ali's YouTube channel.
Thank you.
You have 2 YouTube channels, right?
I do.
Can you give us the names again, please?
Sure. So the first one is Ali Des. That is all about adventures in Japan. And the second one is British English with Ali, which will kind of show you the quintessentially British phrases and differences between different English-speaking countries' way of using English. So please do check.
Sounds so interesting. All right, thank you so much, and see you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.